Hey guys, Michael here. Hey, man, I've been wanting to do this forever with you guys. Oh, you're gonna love this today. Today, I'm going to show you how to think with your soul, and I'm also going to show you the mind of your body, soul, and spirit. Now, there is a lot of things we've got to do today here, and one of them is I've got to explain to you how the soul works and where it is. And you may have seen this in one of my previous videos, but let me erase this. But what we've got here, okay, I gotta erase this from my previous video. That was the one we did on heat. Now to raise your temperature. All right. All right. I was so busy preparing that I forgot completely to erase the whiteboard. Anyway, this is going to be a basic outline here. Let's say here is your soul. And then there's this kind of this gray area that acts as the veil to your soul that keeps you from knowing completely who you are. But you get small flashes of it, and that's why it's centered around the heart center. So got the heart center here. Okay. The veil, and then the soul. Now, when you first enter into the soul, what it's going to feel like is as if you're falling. You're going to fall into the soul. And it feels like as you enter through the veil, it's kind of like, it's almost like there's something compressing around you. And you'll see a light in the center. And what you do is you focus your awareness on the heart center, and you feel the feeling of falling in there. And you begin to see, like within your mind's eye, darkness at first. But that darkness is just the veil. And that's what it's surrounded in. So you don't remember everything. So what you do is you fall into there. And this is a great way to center your energy, and you will feel amazing once you learn to go into the soul. But the soul is so much more than just centering. And how you begin to feel and think, I want you to kind of think of it this way. When you think, where do you feel it from? Some people feel the thoughts from their heart when they truly feel something, and that they go on that instinct. They feel and think from the heart. Some people think from their head, and they feel all of their thinking is up here. And I mean literally feel, like you literally feel like almost like a tingling or a presence or here. Or when my voice is flowing like a river of words, I feel it come here. Or when I'm down here and I feel a little powerless, or I'm feeling empowering, I'm speaking from my solar plexus. Or when I'm feeling very creative, or in a very, this is for more mature, but it's like when you feel that intensity for somebody that you really love, you feel it down into the sacral chakra, or the root. You feel that very base survival, that where you don't take everything as like fact. Everything's about survival, but it also keeps you grounded here. And when you have that big insight that comes, is up here, it's like you feel something right here, and it's just amazing, and everything clicks for that one moment. That's what I mean. Your entire energy system thinks, every bit of it, not just the one piece. So don't quit thinking just here or here. You've got to think everywhere, and you listen to each points of those energy through your awareness, and you practice that by focusing that awareness there. and feeling it out. So when you think up here, for a second, since most of us are familiar with that, how does it feel when you're searching through your mind? When you think, you move through your memories. When you think with your heart, you think with your feelings. When you're communicating something and you want to communicate something across, you focus here because the energy flows through those areas. So you literally begin to think. And it's the same with the soul. The chakras here are just expressions for the soul to plug in, if you will. So let's say the soul is you, and the chakras, or your energy system, are just something for it to plug into. So the chakras, nice flowery things, or meridians, it's just pathways for your soul to pretty much express itself. The chakras are built there just to express that full body vehicle. Because this vessel, it's a way for you to fully move out. And so what happens to people when they become so messed up? What happens to them? All the energies within the vehicle or the vessel or the body become twisted and messed up. The soul stays pure most of the time, unless they have bad intentions coming here in the first place. But the soul cannot be destroyed. It can be mangled, twisted, or broken apart, but never destroyed. All right, and if you guys have any questions, put them up in the Q&A and I'll take a look at that now real quick. All right. Oh, love you. All right. What do you think the veil is? The veil is that compression. When you come here to this earth in the first place, what happens is you fall to earth, and I've actually helped quite a few spirits fall and, help them be born. That's one of my new duties now as I go to sleep and I help out every night. And you take those memories back with me. I've been starting to remember those, and I know a friend of mine, he's been having the same thing too, where he's talking in his sleep, and some of you may know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to reveal his name without his permission, so I'm going to leave it at that. But he had a story where he had experienced the feeling of falling every time in his sleep. And when he was falling, he would be falling into his soul, and that's why he would begin to speak these languages in his sleep he didn't even know. And someone had to tell him that he was speaking those. But beyond that, here for a sec, let me get back to what the veil is. The veil, when it compresses, when you compress, it literally has to compress down, and it creates kind of sort of a barrier around. And that's kind of done on purpose a little bit, not only so you can fit in this vehicle here, but also for the reason that you are here to learn, and you're also here to take in the lessons of here. So picture this, if you will. A person going through their life, and they come here and they want to learn all these great things, have all these energies here, but how serious are they, and are they going to really take on those energies and lessons? So what do? How do you make sure that is a true test? You put them here with no memory, with only the soul to guide them. Let's say you are a person with no memory, but you are still you. You're still completely all you. So what do? That soul guides you in little ways, whether it's through dreams, and the spirit guides you through the crown chakra with the big insights, guiding you along, moving you, pushing you forward. And with all that said, the veil is just there to guide you. And then when you reach that point where you're actually looking inside yourself and you're finding the soul in the first place, the veil begins to disappear, and you begin to be able to reach back into there and pull the memories of what was. And as you pull those memories in, what happens is you begin to remember who you are and who you really are inside. And it feels like that peace in your life that you always have been feeling that is missing, something that's missing that you can't quite grasp. It sometimes bugs you even a little bit because you can't quite grasp what is that dark corner in your mind. That is where the soul part of your memories are. When you reach down and you go here into the soul and you go through the heart chakra, and with it, and because the heart chakra, as I said, surrounds the soul, you fall into it, and then you begin to think with the soul. You begin to think with the whole body, and then comes along with the spirit, and the veil just literally disappears. The soul is there, and it is accessible, but you've got to reach the point where you have put away all the suppressions that you've put away and that have turned into blocks. Your feelings, they have to be healed. And that's why we do a lot of shadow work. What I like to call this is light work. You uncover what has already always been there. It's always been there, just hidden. It's always been there. And that's what I say the veil is. Now, if you guys have any questions, put them up, and I'll continue with this. But I want you guys to think of something here for a sec. The mind's like your body in itself is a mind, and getting all three of them, you have three. You have the divine mind, the soul mind, and the conscious mind. All three must work together. When you come into this body, there is the soul forms what I like to call the conscious mind, the separation, if you will, of your life as it is now. It's still technically part of the soul, but the part that's accessible, that subconscious part of ourselves that's deep within us that you can't quite reach, that's where the soul lives. You just have to reach in there and get it and uncover that unconscious part. And some people, like when they're trying to heal, like they have a hard time because like they get distracted, and those blocks of energy are literally shields because your own body consciousness is trying to protect you. And what it's doing is it's not trusting, because in a way, like that event, whether when it happened, was very painful, or maybe it's a part of you that you've suppressed. It needs to know that it's not going to be abandoned again. So these parts and blocks with your body and things, you need to build trust with them. That's why when I talked about healing, you need to go into the memory and hug that younger version of you that's been frozen in time this whole time, and that's been in constant pain and has been put into this little ball of pain that after a while goes numb. And that's the reason is so you can deal with it later, but some people just ignore it and it becomes almost non-existent to them. And you develop so many of these that they almost turn into layers. And so you take the light ones that are on top first that are easily visible to you, and then the ones that are lower down start to bubble up. And you get all the way down until then you get to discover the soul part of you. And you know, that path is very difficult for some people. I see it every time when a new person wants to go into energy work or psychic work. What'll happen to them, they'll get really excited, they'll be like, I'm going to do telekinesis, I'm going to do healing, and I'll be moving along, and then they run into this, where the emotions have been triggered by all that energy work flowing through your body, and they fall on their face and they push it away. And some people even get very unemotional, and they like to ignore anything that isn't completely, totally positive. And you know, shadow work is tough. It's very tough, and so is light work. And to get to this point, you've got to step through the mud. And So let me ask you this. Is it bad if you're giving yourself self-love and that self-healing? You most of all deserve that for yourself. So give that yourself that opportunity to be able to feel those emotions and feel them flow through you. And some people say emotions are an illusion, and this whole place is an illusion. But let me ask you for a second. What is real? Is this real right now, me talking to you? I could be this faceless person that you may not know me or whatever, but what is real? Am I having this experience right now? And what would you define as real? You know, all these conspiracies, everything else, doesn't matter in the end. What matters here is that you help as many people as possible learn, grow, and take on these emotions and turn them into constructive manners to where you take them as part of you and they go into the soul. That's why we hop planet to planet, or we reincarnate here, or whatever you may be. You come here to take on the energies and lessons of a place, and they ground into you to where they become part of you. You can take all the high energies you want, but it doesn't matter, because if they're not part of you, they're just going to dissipate, and that's the truth. It's like my mom always told me, actions speak louder than words, and whatever you do is pretty much what you believe. And you know, I'm going to end this video in another couple minutes here, so if any of you have questions, let me know. And you know, if you have any other questions that you think of later, put them in the comments as well. But we've got another key question here. Okay. What happens after you heal energy blockages? What happens to the blockage, and what changes in you, for you? Well, that's a very good question. Blockages are parts of you. They're literal parts that have, in a way, it's shadow work in a way, because they're parts of you that have been completely sealed off, that, you know, that you want to pretty much just like say, I want to push this aside, I want to kind of keep it over here. Or there are parts of you that it's just like it becomes a very bad influence, where it's constantly twisting your energy. And so what happens to you? That part of you is now accepted part of you, and you become more whole, to where you feel more, everything's more connected. And what does that do in the long run? More energy flows through you. You begin to understand life a lot more, and you transform them into something healing. Even the most horrible and senseless things that happen to you can come up years later, and you can take what happened to you that was terrifying and devastating and transform somebody else's life, because you've been through it. And you know, I don't like to use the Bible as much, but you know, I do like Jesus and what he did. He, like, you know, some people say he did for the sins of the world, and here's what I think. He reached what a lot of people call Christ consciousness, and he got to experience and feel everyone's pain and their past for one moment, and he got to transform that set all into him. And what that did, it allowed him to understand everyone and take in all those higher energies and make them part of his own being, to where he understood everyone and was able to help heal people when he passed on into the other realms, if you will. And that's why I think a lot of times history has gotten a little confused, because in a way he did heal the world, but for what? You know, sins? Sure. But in a way, I think it was more for blockages for people to help them heal and recover. That's why Jesus is such a powerful thing for people. When they put Jesus part of their life Like, he was a person, he's an angel that helped people, that really, really helped people. And he wanted to help people. And there are many people that come onto this earth whether it's any spiritual person or any angel that falls to here that really wants to help people. You know, they may not take it as far as he did, but other people have reached that level and they just want to help people. And, you know, there's some spirits that help from the beyond that you have no idea who they are and what they do, but they're helping you, like, just because they want to. Anyways, I'll put that down. Is there any more questions, or forever hold your peace? But, you know, that's how you begin to think with the soul. You focus here and you fall into it. You experience that feeling of falling. And then once you feel what the soul is, and you feel that love and understanding and dwell in that heart and who you really are, you begin to not only, it's not necessarily more of a separation, then you begin to go into it where it's like you feel it and you begin to think in there. And then you also sense the cord that leads up to your spirit, and you begin to draw that into you, where that God grounding video that I showed you begins to come into full play. Anyways, I love you guys, and I've been waiting such a long time to put this video out, and I hope it helps a lot of you. But anyways, if you guys want to see more stuff from me, and I've got a lot of more stuff coming, and I'm sorry for some of my videos taking a long time, but you know, I'm learning as I go, and I'm learning and researching and drawing and journaling every day so I can get this information out to you guys, because I want to really not necessarily awaken the world, but I want to bring people peace of mind and feel loved and feel like they can bring other people's love and feel like everyone can be respected and kind. Anyways, if you like this, like, comment, subscribe, and I have my own Facebook page. I'll put that in the link below. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.